Greetings, true believers, and welcome back to Spider-Man. And you know what this means.
And away we go! Oh, can't wait to see what thrilling action Spidey brings to the table for Season 2!
You know, I'm actually in talks with this competing subscription service, so...
Please, I basically discovered you! And if you leave, my fans will be so upset. Angry flash mobs upset! Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!
Okay, since last time, I modified the Trojan she installed to ping her location each time I do one of her shows. Once I get enough pings, I can triangulate, find her hideout, and send her on early hiatus, straight to Rikers.
So, because otherwise we would have been having too much fun, Screwball is back and she has a new set of challenges. So here is her version of the stealth challenges, which in the main game these were already kinda full of trial and error. So how about we add motion sensors to them? That's great, isn't it? If you get spotted by one of those, you fail.
Quick and quiet.
Immediately.
Photo bomb!
And yeah, photo bombs are there of course as well.
Sensor's back online. You're just not good at this.
Yeah, I just screwed that up myself. Or maybe I jumped at the wrong enemy, I don't know.
See me, the hostage is dead.
You know what's my fave? You're just not good at this.
And that was just... I got spotted by the sensor mid-animation, I could have done nothing. Of course, Screwball will mock you,
34 says,
because that is what she does.
reported you to the police. Ooh, how disappointing. Especially for that.
And once again I kinda jumped at the wrong spot
If they see me, the hostage is dead.
and got noticed by the sensor as I did here.
RUSM.
At that point I just didn't care anymore, I think. I wasn't really trying or paying attention.
Surprise!
Because that is kinda what happens when you have to do this a million times. Yeah, I didn't notice the guy at the back there. Was too eager to go in for the photobomb. But okay, let's do this properly this time.
If they see me, the hostage is dead.
I just figured that since I had to suffer through all of that, I would at least show the highlights.
Someone needs a nap.
Down, many more to go.
And yeah, you can web the sensors so you can temporarily take them offline, but I don't think that's really worth doing.
That is a photo bomb.
For the most part, they are fairly easy to avoid.
Photo bomb. Don't miss it.
Yeah, I've just put some drones here to take care of a few of those guys back there.
Another one down. Oh, hey, Rostapasa 757. Thanks for the follow.
And then we get stuck on some geometry as we try to get on top of that pole.
SYK, I just reported you to the police. Ha 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 ha. You messed with the wrong streamer, Bob. Prepare to be doxxed. Yes!
God, could you just so completely shut up?
Look at that. A photo bomb. Better get over there.
Yeah,
You're done.
all in due time.
Friendly neighborhood screwball here. If you like that, click the share button and tell your friends.
No, I do not like any of this. At least the photobomb areas, I'm pretty sure that they are not timed in this. They'll stay there until you actually do the photobomb.
Minty Breath 77 is wondering, hey Screwball, can I interview you for a school project? Aw, sure thing, Minty Breath. Check my website for speaking and appearance fees, huh?
You're a supervillain. Why do you have a website with speaking and appearance fees? Okay, time for some more trip mines. Just gotta find the proper place to throw them. Well, not like that. It was terrible. Let's try that again. Better.
So close to perfection.
That got me average views. Average! The worst insult in the world!
Well, I do have some other descriptions for these challenges, but this is a family show, so I'll just keep them to myself.
Listen up. We can't let Hammerhead continue to arm himself, and those burrowing tanks will tear apart our lockup. I'm spreading the remaining stable gear throughout the city. Give him multiple targets. Force him to thin his men out.
Okay, what do you need from me?
Protect the transports. We'll have multiple runs in transit at once. Be ready to back up any that get into trouble.
You got it.
Once the gear's relocated, we'll focus on Hammerhead. Stay sharp. Lives are on the line.
Not liking what I hear in her voice. I gotta make time for Yuri after this. She gives me a lot of grief, but I can't let her down. Let me see if I can pick up the police comms channels.
Unimpeded. Repeat. Convoy 3. Progress unimpeded.
Route appears clear ahead. No hostiles visible.
Safe House 2, ready to receive.
Okay, so far, so good.
Should we maybe have mentioned Project Olympus? I mean, that sounded kind of important.
Hey, Peter. You still busy?
Little Miles. Why, what's up?
It's just, you know, I'm really itching to get back out there. Keep training, get working on my Spidey skills.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Things have been so...
I know. You're super busy. So I was thinking, why don't I just come with you?
Come with me? Where?
Yeah, you know, like one of your missions, or quests, or patrols, or whatever you call them. Taking down bad guys, stopping evil, you know? That stuff, the superhero stuff.
I think it's a bit too soon for that, Miles. Though I definitely appreciate the offer.
Why?
Well, it's not like the movies, you know? You can get seriously hurt. There's some pretty bad dudes on the streets right now.
Well, I gotta learn somehow.
I know. We'll get together soon, okay? I promise.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Teens make me feel ancient.
You know we'll have a good time then.
Don't worry. Police will pick you up in a bit.
And yeah, that was a Maggia execution, one of the other new side missions.
Wow. Funny how Hammerhead and Maggia thugs look exactly alike under a bunch of webbing.
And there are also these skirmishes all over the place. The ones on the ground level as well as some on rooftops, which we'll see later. But for now we're gonna go and do one of the Hammerhead hideouts or the Hammerhead fronts. And I figured we put on some more casual wear, I suppose. This is the suit that we get from finding all of the hidden photo ops.
Going down. Hey, MJ. I'm in an old speakeasy crawling with Hammerhead's goons. Wanna guess what they're protecting?
Probably more than just an expired liquor license. See if you can find anything that'll tell us more about his operation.
10-4, Spidey out.
I tell you, I ain't never seen a place this fancy in my life. Boss has great taste.
Yeah, he does. I hear he's trying to buy out the bar with no name.
Really? You think he'll turn that dump into a place like this?
Maybe, though it'll probably just end up as another storage unit.
Damn, we just filled an entire warehouse with that Sable stuff. We got more coming in?
Oh yeah, loads more. The boss is prepping for something big.
That's what I keep hearing. That, Olympus stuff.
Bingo. We'll be finding out all about it soon enough.
How long you think it'll take for anybody to notice we're circulating fake bills through this joint?
If you keep running your cake hole like that, it'll probably be pretty soon.
Easy. It's just us here. We're closed up tight today.
Still, can't let this place get shut down like those other ones. boss would kill us before we run.
Won't happen. Trust me, the boss knows how to cover his tracks. Those other joints weren't his.
Oh yeah? Were they run by the other Dons?
Yeah, and their leadership ain't nothing compared to the boss's. We got the real deal.
I hear you.
Hey, you cheating?
Spider-Man's been here.
Okay, let's get to work. Gotta say, these are some very poorly attached chandeliers. They could fall on somebody's head.
Spider-Man's here! No more games! We gotta get this free!
You guys charging a cover? I'm kind of short right now. Maybe you can spot me?
Going down.
So the Hammerhead fronts, they work the same as the hideouts in the main game, except that these are a lot, and I mean a lot harder.
I'm growing a mustache. Yes? No? Maybe?
There's just tons more enemies and tons more special enemies.
This is gonna hurt you more than me. Was there supposed to be a password to get in here? Was it Hammerhead? I bet it was.
So we have a bunch of shield jetpack guys and big boys with machine guns and pretty much any enemy type that you could think of.
Hey fellas, this joint got gigawater? That's what they used to call drinks, right?
And you get shot from off screen or attacked from off screen pretty often.
Hey Pete, just wanted to check in. Having fun at the completely above board speakeasy?
Yeah, if by fun you mean getting shot at by Hammerhead dudes, and if by above board you mean money laundering and illicit gambling, then yes.
Figures.
I'll be in touch in no time.
And I'm just screwing up my dodges there, big time. And there's like 3 guys with rocket launchers on this side of the speakeasy just. With 4 guys. Great.
Get everyone out here! Come on!
Don't tell me! There's another speakeasy identical to this one right behind those doors!
And yeah, in the DLC, the rocket launcher guys also will fire their rockets from pretty much point blank. So that's great. They don't care.
Quit firing your scenery and kill him!
Shot in the dark, but anyone know where I can find the office with the secret documents?
I guess they're not gonna be too cooperative today. That means that we have recovered pretty well from having literally 1 health.
If we met under different circumstances? Yeah, me neither.
Oh, I dodged one. Go me.
I'm the best there is at what I do. And what I do is quit.
I really don't know how you're supposed to do one of these in one continuous combo because there's just so much crap going on.
No blood jokes, okay? Spiders or arachnids.
I mean, maybe if you're really good and you memorize all of the enemy placements and such, but I don't know, I just run out of skill long before that.
In case you were worried, my webbing is never tested on animals. Just losers like you.
Well, that's good to know.
Shame they destroyed so much of this place. It's actually really nice.
I guess guys like the gibbon or the kangaroo or the lizard don't count as animals. Well, those first 2 are guys in suits, but you know. The lizard at the very least should count as an animal. But never mind that, because we have 1 more guy here, just this nice little surprise waiting for us.
And scene. Hey MJ, I'm just wrapping up.
What do you got for me?
I found a paper trail tying Hammerhead to this place for your article. And there's something else. An encrypted file. Seemed important, so I copied it. Sending it your way.
Pete, this is incredible. Thank you. I'll see what I can get out of this file.
Okay, now let's put on something a bit more stylish. The Spider Armor Mark 1. In all its 90s glory. I actually forget what story this debuted in, but it's very much an early 90s thing.
Guys, things have gotten pretty bad in my comment section lately, so my amazing fans are heading out to the streets to track down all the haters.
Amazing fans, unhinged escaped inmates. Potato, potato. I better make sure nobody gets hurt.
Now one detail I really like is how you can see the raindrops hitting the emblem on the back of the armor. That looks really nice.
What the? OMG! This is gonna make a great clip for social. Alright, I know I have...
It's one of those effects that are not necessarily uncommon these days, but I still appreciate that kind of attention to detail. Just trying to watch out for these snipers.
Oh, now that is a photo bomb!
Sniper bullets, as we have established, hurt quite a bit.
Time for a crossover! Some of Hammerhead's biggest fans are on their way!
Now she's besties with Hammerhead?
Well, I guess we gotta hand it to old Screwball. She's very skilled at networking.
Don't miss it!
So now we just got the big machine gun brute here. And one smaller friend as well. But we have to take this guy out first.
It's like every punch nets me new likes!
Into the fountain?
Good, but I can do better.
Guess not.
People are like, meh, which is the worst thing a person can possibly be!
Right.
Today, on Just the Facts, with J. Jonah Jameson, the Mafia are turning the streets of Manhattan into a gang war. Why, you ask? Because nobody listened to me when they had the chance. If we just cleaned up the city, returned to our collective senses, and run Spider-Man out of town, not necessarily in that order, then a psychopathic crime boss wouldn't be wrecking New York in some misguided pursuit of that same goal. Look, Hammerhead's impulse to take us back to a simpler time before any of us had heard of web shooters isn't wrong. But his methods are obscene. Attacking the police, terrifying citizens, the man gives simpler times a bad name. Like this infernal sodium-free beverage I'm being forced by the medical establishment to drink for my health gives soda a bad name. And meanwhile, where's our city's so-called savior, Spider-Man, in all this? I need to lay down.
Yeah, I don't know. Jameson seems kind of, well, off in this DLC. It's like he got a new writer or something. He kinda sounds like a caricature of himself. Like, he's got a lot of hilarious screaming in all caps and that sort of thing. It just feels weird.
Hey guys, it's time for another very special episode! Are you ready? Do you have snacks? You should get snacks! Thanks to that cutie little Trojan I slipped into your suit way back, you can only use 2 of your gadgets. No cheat codes!
Looks like I gotta play along.
I guess we should be grateful that she's not activating that particular feature while we are actually doing something important.
That's it! Give me something to make an emote out of!
So yeah, now we are limited to the concussive blast and the web bomb. concussive blast is not really one of the more useful gadgets, I don't think. The impact webbing does pretty much everything it does, but better.
You know what I'm in the mood for? A photo!
Well, I guess it can kinda throw several guys, whereas the impact webbing only works on one at a time, but I don't know.
Oh, I am so gonna skip this.
I haven't really used the web bomb that much either, but it works in this particular challenge, I think. I guess it's kinda good if you need to get a whole bunch of guys out of your way.
I should put that on a business card.
Average. You know what else is average? Traditional broadcast media. Ugh.
I could easily get gold from that if I replayed it, but at this point it really doesn't matter. I have unlocked everything, so who cares? And there was a trophy, of course, which requires you to get silver from all of these screwball challenges, but I have that one as well, so it doesn't really matter at all. So now we just put on the Scarlet Spider 2 suit, the Kane version of the Scarlet Spider suit. Now Kane, of course, was Spider-Man's clone created in the 90s. He was the first clone that the Jackal created.
Going down.
And he was kind of a failed clone, so he was disfigured and...
Into one of Hammerhead's operations. It looks like a distillery, but it's gotta be a front. I'd put my money on smuggling. Like illegal weapons or fancy gangster hats.
You mean fedoras? I think that might almost be worse than the weapons. Let me know what you find.
Fedoras, right.
Great thinking on the boss's part. These new printers are making our lives way easier.
Easier than taking candy from a baby.
I mean, if you're gonna use metaphor, we're technically making our own candy, right?
Yeah, so Kane's clone degeneration used to amplify his powers. He was able to do this thing called the Mark of Kane, which he would place his hand on somebody's face and just burn it, which is essentially the same power that Spider-Man uses to attach to walls. And Kane could also just pull buildings down by just grabbing onto them with his hand and just pulling them down. So that's also a stronger version of the attached to walls power that Spider-Man has. But eventually, after some magical nonsense, Kane kinda got fixed and became a quote-unquote normal clone of Peter Parker, so he moved to Houston and became Scarlet Spider there.
I know, I should have called first.
Body, check in. Hey, get over here.
And this of course is the suit that he wore at that point.
I got you now, Spider-Man. Around. Stay out of our...
Put your drinks down and stop fighting!
Drinking on the job? I'm gonna have to report you all to Hammerhead HR.
Really want to pull down those barrels.
Spider-Man! Kill him before he destroys the printer!
Do you guys throw parties in here? You should totally throw parties in here!
I wasn't planning on destroying the printers, but now that you mention it... Oh, that went well. Again.
Want some of this? Get off your butts, you idiots, and take him out!
Let's not tank our economy any further now, boys!
Pete, is now a good time?
Oh, as good a time as any!
I decrypted the file you found in that last Hammerhead front.
Don't tell me! Hammerhead's baby photos? Did he always have the weird skull, or is that more of a recent thing?
No. It looks like Hammerhead's been collecting information on the cops. On Captain Watanabe.
Yuri? Why would Hammerhead care about her in particular?
There's digital clippings here. Watanabe got her first big win by taking down a ring of Mafia traffickers. She joined the force with a very specific goal in mind.
So she's always had it in for the Mafia. I wonder why.
I'm not sure. but I can tell there's a story here. I'll let you go. Back to work for us both.
Yeah, so doing these hideouts also gives us a bit of backstory for Yuri. So it's kind of worth it for that.
You guys got any more illegal stuff in the office? Just asking for a friend.
Christ, that's a lot of guys. That is so many guys. So many special enemies as well. There's several of the whip guys, and there's a big boy and a rocket launcher, because of course there is. So yeah, I guess these are a nice challenge if you're good at the game, but I don't know. I think these go a little bit overboard with these special enemies in particular. Yeah, and that guy just firing his rockets at point blank range, because of course he does.
Phew, fumes are starting to get to me. I should get over to the office before I pass out.
And we did not get any of the bonus objectives, but that doesn't really matter at all. Took me an embarrassing amount of time to actually realize that it's right there. And we just have to electric whip it. Could maybe pay more attention.
No money, no beer, but ledgers that prove they're counterfeiting. And an encrypted file, too. MJ, I took out all the Hammerhead's goons. They were using the place to print money. Also, I found another encrypted file.
This is great, Peter. I can use all of this. And I'll jump on the encryption ASAP.
Thanks, MJ.